Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. Always good to begin everything you do with a prayer and ask for spiritual guidance. Backed by popular demand, I got an email from a listener just yesterday. It said, Tony, I'm a hiring authority, and I know that somewhere along the line you talked about the biggest mistakes that employers make in the interviewing and hiring process. Could you go over those again? So I agreed to do that. We're going to take the first 5 of them today and then discuss the next 5 next week in that radio program. In 1969, McGill University did a study that claimed that a hiring decision is made in the first 45 seconds of an interview, that people decide they're going to hire somebody or not in 45 seconds. Now, there isn't an employer I've ever run into, a hiring authority, that would agree with that, but the truth is it's probably correct. And I don't think it's changed since 1969. But here are the mistakes that most employers make in the hiring process. And we'll start with 1 and go through 10 over the next 2 weeks. The first one is hiring authorities don't really have a clear idea of what they are looking for that everybody understands. And the more people that are involved in the hiring process, the more diverse what everybody thinks they ought to be looking for. So they put out instructions like good written and verbal communication skills. If you graduated from high school and you could stumble through working in a grocery store, you probably have some kind of verbal communication skills and most likely some written ones. What kind of a description is that? Only the people that are involved in the process, in the job itself, people whose livelihood is involved in success of the job, should be writing up what a job description is, and it needs to be concise and measurable. 3 to 5 years of experience, 5 to 10 years of experience. I defy you to show me the difference between somebody with 7 years of experience and somebody with 10 years of experience, other than they've done something 3 more years. Are they better? Well, I don't know. You've got to come up with something that is measurable, specific tasks that people are involved in and needing to look for. And only the people whose job is affected by the person doing the interviewing, doing the hiring, should be involved in the process. I know your HR authority somewhere in Pennsylvania or New York probably thinks that they have a good handle on what you ought to be asking for. They don't. You're the one that is responsible for doing the hiring. You're the one that has to come up with concise, measurable descriptions. Secondly, most people have a very unrealistic idea of what kind of candidates might be available and the money it's going to take to hire them. Most everybody dreams the idea that we're a wonderful company. Everybody would want to work here. Who would not want to work here? Of course, we want a lot of experience and we only want to pay what we were paying 10 years ago for it. That doesn't matter. People love coming to work here. They don't have a realistic idea of what the market will bear. They haven't hired anybody in 2 years and they have no idea. So call us. We'll tell you. You give us a call and you say, how much is it going to cost me to get this kind of experience, to do this and to do that? We'll tell you. We deal with this every single day. Our average recruiter's been here 16 years. We know what the market will bear. We deal with this every day. But the idea that you know what's going to be on the market and what's available for the money you want to pay may be totally unrealistic. So you're sitting there thinking you're going to get all of this human capital power for half of what it's worth. Unrealistic. The third mistake that people make is that they have too many people involved in the interviewing process. I had a situation not too long ago, I think I've mentioned it before. They wanted 16 people to interview the candidate. 16 people? What's with this? Is this a vote? What are we voting on a candidate? Only the people whose livelihood depends on the performance of the person should be involved in the process, and no more than 3 people, maybe 4 if human resources is involved in screening the person, but no more than that. Now, why do so many people get involved in the process? Well, they don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to make a mistake. The more people we have involved in the interviewing process, the more we can spread the blame if it doesn't work out. That's what they're really saying. Too many people involved in the process. And then the last one we're going to talk about today is that the process takes way too long. If it goes beyond 10 working days, you can bet your bottom dollar that your competitor is running faster than that, and your competitor is going to be trying to hire the candidate. People drag this thing on so long, they lose candidates, and that's a big mistake. Set a deadline and keep to the deadline. Don't have that many people involved in the interviewing process, and you can do it in a very short period of time. All right. Thank you all for listening. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashara with the Job Search Solution.